what is Cosmos and what is Rufus?
This is a totally different technology, which Amazon has now rolled out.
What's the thought process behind starting EcomTent?
I thought it was so unlikely that they didn't go down this path.
Is there any other way that we can upload it?
So you can publish just the A+ content and nothing else.
What kind of uplift you're getting in terms of conversion or sales?
Ecom Squeezed podcast.
Welcome to another episode of Ecom Squeezed. I am your host, Sebastian, founder of Retail-Outsource. And today we have an exciting guest, Max Sinclair. Max is the founder and CEO of EcomTent, a company transforming e-commerce by enhancing product listing with AI. He is also an Amazon ex-employee. In today's episode, we are going to explore Amazon's AI role in creating optimized product listing, lifestyle images, infographics, and much more, all with a click of a button. Max, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for inviting me on.
Great. Max, could you give us a background on what you do?
Sure. So I'm the founder of EcomTent, and the vision of EcomTent is to help sellers and agencies to create product listing content optimized for the future of AI-powered search. So we help to create the visual and written assets of product listings, lifestyle images, infographics, A+ content, and the copy. Everything optimized for Cosmo, for Rufus, for these future large language model powered search. It's a massive change in the underlying technology, as I'm sure we'll discuss. So that is happening now, and it has happened to move from kind of like the previous A9 stack ranking type, keyword stack ranking type search, which I worked on at Amazon when I was working there, to what we have now, which is kind of based on top of large language models, multimodal. And yeah, we're helping sellers to optimize for the future, which is very much here.
That's great. And regarding Cosmos and Rufus, just give us what is Cosmos and what is Rufus, and how is that relevant for a seller?
Sure. So Rufus is a front-end kind of ChatGPT integrated into Amazon that they have launched. Is live now across all US-based customers, both on mobile and desktop. And Cosmo is a backend. It's a large language model powered search engine. And basically Cosmo's job is to give as personalized recommendations to each individual customer as possible. So the example they give in their science paper is if a pregnant woman is searching for slip-resistant slippers, they will show her, if a pregnant woman is searching for slippers, they will show her slip-resistant slippers because they know that's best for a pregnant woman, even without the woman, saying she's pregnant. Amazon will know this. And even without, the seller putting images of pregnant women in their listing. Now, obviously, having those images and text about pregnant, the use case would help. And that's exactly what we do at EcomTent. But yeah, that's kind of a quick overview into both of them.
Okay, great. And you mentioned about the changing from A9 to AI-based search, right? So in order to make that changes, from seller's side, if they already have the listing active on Seller Central, what all changes they have to keep in mind?
Sure. I can't emphasize how big of a change this is. And I'll just give a quick technical reason why. When you're using a large language model, these models work on tokens, which are numeric values. They don't work on. So in the previous world, what would happen is, everyone would try and be getting their long tail keywords from wherever, and you would try and, find some long tail keyword and rank on that. And, the A9 would kind of evaluate price and sales velocity and reviews and all these different things just to work out what's the best kind of, stack rank the different products on different keywords, right? This is a totally different technology, which Amazon has now rolled out. And the way it works is, the customer puts in their prompt either through Rufus or through main search, doesn't matter which one, it's in both for Cosmo. And then AI will turn that prompt into tokens because all large language models work on tokens. And then it's going to compress it for cost and for speed. These things are actually quite expensive and to run, and therefore like all based stuff works with an element of compression. And then it goes into the AI model, and it's going to, use its training and all this is kind of data that Amazon has to do a personalized result for each person. Now, the difference in this technology is significant because your long tail keyword that you may have been trying to rank on probably isn't even getting into the prompt because it's being turned into a token and it's being compressed. So there's a need for a totally new way of, new technology in terms of how to help sellers rank on on these models, and that's what we've built at EcomTent.
And regarding, so it will be mainly, I assume, mainly intent-based and use case scenario. Is that how it aligns to?
There, we plug into the API, so we see the audience, we see the keywords, we see, and we basically, as you say, generate content which is intent-based, content based on who that audience, like largest segment of the audience is, where the biggest opportunity is. We kind of generate, and you'll see in the demo, but how the product could be used, what's the season, what who that target audience is, all of this kind of stuff, which is important to explain to the model. And I think the simplest and easiest way to think about this is that these AI models are now smarter than any human, right? So GPT just launched GPT-01. It's basically, it's in the top 500. It ranked in the top 500 for on like the Maths Olympia in the US. And it also can, do complex physics, biology, and chemistry problems to PhD level, right? So these AI systems are smarter than any human, and therefore there's kind of no hacking the system anymore. The content has to be written well for as if a human is reading it, and also which human are you trying to sell to, because it's in the back end is trying to match that. Your product listings with customers who are coming on and their personas and their search history or their, and their specific needs, right?
Yeah, that's great. And, if I remember back in 2017, Amazon Alexa, right? So you can just ask Alexa, okay, this is the scenario, and suggest me some products. So it will give us some products and then say,
Yes.
Okay, should I add to the basket? So it was there like, a few years back. So what's different in terms of that to Rufus? What are changes?
So I think this is testament to Jeff Bezos's genius, right? That previously he foresaw that we would have AI powerful enough to pass a Turing test and talk to humans as if it's human. We all take it for granted now, but before 2022 and before ChatGPT, it was impossible to imagine that an AI would ever be able to conversate as a human and pass to a human, and that any of these like Alexas or anything else would actually be useful to anyone. They didn't. I can't remember when Alexa launched. I think it's 2017, because I remember getting a secret demo of one at Amazon. They used to do this thing where they gave employees devices that they hadn't yet launched, and I got an Alexa before like it was live, and that's probably in 2016. So and obviously at that time it was 5 years before the technology existed to actually make them useful in any meaningful way apart from play a song and do basic tell you the weather. But I think Jeff has a very long-term view of things and kind of appreciated that this technology was coming in a way that most of us normal humans didn't, right? So I think Alexa has just done a partnership with Claude. Normally how this works in Amazon is they do like a special paid thing, and then it will become available for all Prime members eventually, and then it will just become available for everyone eventually. So I would say in 2-3 years time, you buy an Alexa, it's going to be able to talk to you via Claude and 11 Labs or whatever voice they're using, and it's going to be like having a personal agent in your house, and it's going to totally change the usefulness of that device, because up to this point, they're okay, but they're not, they're nothing exceptional, right?
Yeah. I also had a look into your LinkedIn profile, and you worked for like 6 years for Amazon, right? So Amazon Singapore. So you were onboarding clients, and you worked up right from there. And you were managing, like, I assume, brands like Anchor and stuff like that. So like a
early
big branch,
days,
right?
early in my career, I did. That was one of my first roles. I was an account manager. Yeah.
So those are very big at the moment. For example, we do a lot of checking on their account. What they do. So normally they come up with new things on Amazon. So we keep an eye on those plans actually.
Mhm.
So what you have learned, managing those big accounts?
Well, yeah, I mean, I have to be honest with you. I would have, like, I joined Amazon when I was 21, and I think I was learning far more from the Anchors and the Duronics and these big accounts than I was giving them value, to be honest. Like, they were incredible. And I think what was so exciting about working with those kind of brands like Anchor is that they just had such a vision for their product development. It was all about building amazing products and uh, amazing products that would just amaze customers. And I remember, again, this would have been 2016, 2017, they were showing me stuff like a floor vacuum. And I don't think I'd seen one of those before, like they're quite common now, but it's kind of a vacuum that goes around and vacuums by itself on the floor. They were showing me like a projector where it's kind of like a mini projector you could plug in and it would project onto your wall, like a portable one. So you can walk around with this electronic device and turn any wall into a TV screen. So they were innovating on products like this way before it was I'd seen them. Like I remember looking at this kind of them showing me like their development and asking for my feedback, and I was like, wow, I've never seen any of this stuff. This is all amazing. So I think just their focus on the product itself and just incredible products is why they are a multi-billion-dollar company. I think they were the first Amazon native brand to list on go public and list on the stock exchange. So they're just an incredible company, and it all comes from the innovation on the product side, like firstly and foremostly.
Agree. Yeah, totally agree with that. The products are top notch. And what's the thought process behind starting EcomTent? Means it's a wonderful software. I had a look into your website. A lot of things that I want to go through it, but what's the thought process?
So the story behind it is my now co-founder showed me the first release of Stable Diffusion a week or two after it launched. Stable Diffusion was the first open source image generation software. So you can type in the text and generate an image like Midjourney. This is before Midjourney though. And the amazing thing about Stable Diffusion was that it's open source, meaning that people could build on it, they could license it, you could sell it. So, and this is kind of for 2022. He showed me this and I said to him, could you, rather than like generating a random image, which is kind of like the direction Midjourney went, obviously they're beautiful images, but just generating like a generic projector, could you put my specific projector in the image? And he built a rough demo of this over a weekend. And I was, from that point, I saw it had all these issues of hallucinations and distortions that this early I did, but I was fully in. I was like, this is going to be incredible. So we have been working on it full time, basically since that point. It's been 2 years now. And I guess the second big realization that I had rolling forward a few months was when ChatGPT launched. So ChatGPT launched in November this year, 2022. So we were live for about 2 months before ChatGPT, helping people to generate product images with AI. Type in the prompt, create a product image. And I remember ChatGPT launching, and it was so transformational because suddenly everybody understood prompting. Everybody kind of had a concept of what we were doing, whereas beforehand, nobody knew. It was completely alien and new. But what really excited me about ChatGPT was how much more intuitive search was. And having worked, fast forwarding a few years from where we were talking about, having worked in search at Amazon, I just had this feeling that Amazon would have to adopt this technology for search because it was just such a better customer experience. It was so much more intuitive. And I, having worked for Amazon so long, I knew that it's all about customer obsession. It's all about innovation. I felt that if they didn't adopt this, what later became Rufus, but if they didn't adopt this kind of like AI-powered search, then somebody else would, and that other person would become the market leader in commerce. So I thought it was so unlikely that they didn't go down this path. And then since basically that point, which was November 2022, we were, still working on the image generation stuff, but also thinking, how can we optimize for ranking on an LLM, which was a totally new, as I've been saying, it was a totally new problem. So we've been, we were one of the first image generation companies, if not the first in the e-commerce space. But even I'd say that point, it kind of like we took the opportunity and we kind of rode the wave as it arrived. But I think for the LLM stuff, we were 2 years ahead because this was 2 years before Rufus, and we were thinking about this and preparing for it. Raise venture capital on this vision kind of years before it became a reality, which has helped us to become obviously a market leader that we are now.
That's great. And I can see from your website you have A+ content creation,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
So normally, that's one of the main tasks that will take a lot of time if you do it manually.
Mhm.
So how much time you can save if you do it through EcomTent?
I can show you, but it takes a couple of
Yeah, please, sure.
seconds.
Let's do it.
Okay. So I think the key thing is all of the content that we generate is optimized for. So it's not just that we're generating AI plus content. We're generating content which is going to get you visibility on Cosmo and is going to help your discoverability and conversion. So
Mhm.
yeah. So if we go into EcomTent, the kind of starting point is you connect to your vendor, seller or vendor account. You then come into here. You'll see a page like this. You'll basically see your IDQ score, which is like an internal Amazon thing on how many bullets you have, how many images you have. So this is part of the traditional A9 search. You'll also see your Cosmo score. So, you can see this listing as a poor Cosmo score, doesn't have the benefits or features, doesn't say where the product can be used for, doesn't clarify the target persona, and the images lack, the target audience and all this. So we kind of show you both the scores, and you can sort by one. So you can kind of, target the listings that you need to go after first to have the biggest uplift. Then we come
Even having that data, it's really helpful. Showing the percentage.
So this is the basic listing. And then you can kind of generate, I'll just click it here. You'll generate content in one click. So when I click here, I'm going to generate my infographics and my lifestyle images in one click. And if I was to click this button, you're going to generate A+ content. We've just been rolling out our Halloween style stuff. So it will generate, I'll show you how it works in a minute, but it will kind of, you can kind of pick a template and generate in that. So we've got a couple of Halloween templates in the tool now, which I'll show you. Or you can, what most of our, larger customers will do, if you can build your own brand guidelines, you build that once, and then it's going to kind of generate into those brand guidelines. So like into the infographics, into the dimensions here. So I wish I didn't click that. Okay. If I go into here, I can kind of set my brand guidelines. So I can, let's say, as I said, like you can see all of this works a little bit like Canva. So you can kind of move the stuff around and whatever else, change the fonts. Let's say you want to use like this beautiful Halloween one, which we built for customers. You would just say, set it as a default for generation. Let me just do that, as it just generated what I just did. So you'd say set as default for generation. And then if I click generate A+, it's going to now, it did this in the previous one, but it's going to now put it into the new brand guidelines. So kind of works like Canva in a way. You set it up, you just set this stuff up once, and then you can generate at scale across thousands of listings. It's going to pull in the relevant details from the API, who the target audience is. So we're going to target, we're going to generate stuff of, which would be dog owners. So this is going to come in a second. So here's a new one we've just done. And you're going to see the target audience. You're going to see kind of the dog. You're going to see all this stuff like generated, obviously in that style that we made. And so, this is obviously part of our Halloween special we're doing, but it could be anything.
That's fantastic. That really took like a few minutes, right?
Yeah.
What about the comparison table at the bottom? Can we include that also?
We don't do that yet.
Okay.
That may be coming. We do the, I'll show you the text. So we do like optimized copy as well. We do more images in this image stack. I can show you in a second. So we basically do the entire listing now. What's coming next is kind of main image optimization. So watch out for that. That will be very exciting. So if I just, so you see here, you've got the optimized text. You can then save and publish this, and you can also do the full image set with the lifestyle images and all the templates. So yeah, the kind of ethos of EcomTent is you set your brand guideline once, generate at scale, and everything we generate is, as we're discussing, kind of optimized through these LLMs. it's written for dog owners, right? So the description says, when it comes to nourishing your furry friend, safety and hygiene is paramount. Unlike plastic bowls that can wear out, are durable stainless steel. Like the copy written, for pet owners, mentions pet owners multiple times. And yeah, you can see here kind of the additional kind of infographics and stuff that it will do. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's how it'll work.
That's a real time saver, and it's mainly optimized for Rufus and Cosmos, right? So that's a win-win actually,
Exactly.
from a seller point of view. And for the infographic images, the one with the size comparison and everything, we can problem them as well, right?
Yeah, it will put in the details from the API. And it will generate in your size comparison. It all kind of has the same format. So you can, in terms of the dimensions ones, you can set the brand guidelines for the dimensions. So we have like multiple different kind of templates. You can pick, this is all, you can pick the one that suits you. You can change the colors, you can change the fonts, and you would just say, like all of this stuff is pretty much like Canva. You can edit it how you want it to do, and then that will just update. It will automatically update your product and your dimensions from the API.
It's very nice actually. And also, for this to create, the listing side, optimizing the listing, right? So we have an option to either optimize the current listing that we have or create a listing from scratch. So how does it work for the current listing? If you already have the listing, how the system is going to optimize?
At the moment,
is it going to take account, for the policies, like, for the ban keywords and stuff like that? Will it follow?
Absolutely. Okay. We follow all those guidelines. I guess at the moment, what happens is the customer needs to build the products on Amazon first, and then they can pull the listings in here. This clicks and it will pull in the new listings. We don't have the ability to create new listings on EcomTent yet. You have to do that on Amazon, and then kind of like just refresh them and bring them in. So yeah, that's how that works at the moment.
Okay, that's good. At least it saves a lot of time, and it will add all those keywords and everything. It will do the keyword. So we just put in the basic information and do it. Is there any other way that we can upload it, like like a CSV file to EcomTent and push it to Amazon?
We do have that on our larger packages. You can, everybody can export as a CSV file and download images. Let's say that they're using a PIM or something like this, and they don't want to publish directly to Amazon. So we've worked through all of these use cases. You can publish just the A+ content and nothing else directly from EcomTent. If you have a PIM and you only want to do that and you don't want to mess anything up, you can download content in CSV or JPEG, one by one at scale, all of this stuff. So it's quite flexible in terms of that.
And regarding compatibility, how you mentioned it's eBay, Amazon seller, Amazon vendor. Is that Etsy there or Etsy?
Yeah. So currently we have seller vendor.
Etsy is there coming. Yeah.
I can't say too much, but I had a very interesting call with someone at a senior person at Walmart, and maybe something. We definitely have Walmart on our roadmap, and let's see how that develops. But at the moment, seller vendor and eBay is what we have.
What about the stock keeping softwares like Linworks or Channel Advisor?
Yeah, we built custom integrations again on the enterprise. If you want like a Magento or Linworks or whoever, we built that, and I'd say reach out to me. And that's not something we offer on the kind of like the sign up, if like just sign up today and do stuff, but we can we built custom integrations, and we can also do so if that's needed.
Yeah. And I want to ask about the performance. Once we have optimized the listing, if I optimize the current listing, so the system will be mainly optimizing for Rufus and stuff like that. So what kind of uplift you're getting in terms of conversion or sales?
We consistently outperform like the say traditional. Many examples, and I'm doing more case studies for the website on kind of different ways of optimizing a listing, putting it through Amazon experiments, and seeing our performance. So we typically see an increase in conversion by 30% with our content. It's also really about this discoverability. So I would say to people, if you're using a Helium 10 in a Jungle Scout, and you don't feel that you're noticing this AI coming, and you don't feel that your listings are optimized for this new AI, and maybe you're seeing an impact, come and try it out, and you'll see.
Okay, great. And I have one or two questions more. So on your website, you have like frequently buy EcomTent. EcomTent, you have a section for plan of action, right? So basically, it will write the plan of action. If your account
Yes.
gets suspended, you just put in the email that Amazon have sent us and plus any other information, and it will create
Yes.
the POA.
So this is a free service that you can just use. We have it as part of the tool, but we also have it for free. So like we have like this AI advisor. I guess Amazon have just launched their own AI advisor, so maybe this will be less a part of our tool. But we have like it here. You can also access this on our website, and yeah, it can help you to write plan of actions. This tool was trained by like multiple Amazon experts, not just myself, and basically feeding in lots of different SOPs, and kind of think of it as like a custom GPT, but a custom GPT on the GPT store can only have like 10 reference documents. This is hundreds, right?
Yeah,
so this
very
is like
small.
a custom GPT on crack, on like Amazon help. And yeah, I'll be interested to see. We get a lot of people using us for this. I'll be interested to see how that changes with the Amelia AI they've just launched. So let's see.
I don't think Amelia will have the option to write plan of action, right? So
I don't
Amazon
know.
Partner.
Who knows? Yeah, I
So-
doubt it, but who knows?
Yeah. But this tool is really nice, actually. If you want to go to a company, they're going to charge you thousands and thousands just to write this plan of action and to giving for free. It's amazing. And I will put the link to the website, and maybe Max can offer some discounts. I'll put that code as well in the description. Anything from your side, Max?
No, I would just kind of remember that like Amazon has fundamentally changed, and being at Accelerate, you can see the focus on AI. I think there's like 23 AI announcements that happened to Accelerate. Like they're going absolutely crazy with it. Which is fair enough because they have AWS. They have our tool is completely built on AWS. I think the US government uses AWS. Like AWS is the best service in terms of having the base models for AI and the infrastructure to build stuff. So this is absolutely the direction of travel from Amazon, and sellers need to keep it top of mind and to adapt to this new this kind of new phase of selling on Amazon. And if you have any questions or would wanted to reach out, I'm happy to have a chat.
That's great. Yeah, as I mentioned, I will put all the details down in the show notes. Feel free to click on it. And thanks a lot, Max. I really appreciate all your insight. I have plenty of questions, maybe for some other time. So
Good to talk to you.
like on limit on time as well. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, everyone.